It's just fun when this happens, or funny, or both. But just, in my usual way, thinking about the show, ideas, topics. For some reason, I thought of asking you if you would take a first-round playoff game between the Bills and New England, and the Bills are home as the 3 seed, and New England is the 6. But before I even ask you that, or had a chance to ask you that on the air, here comes USA Today's projections, which should be called predictions, like the records.
Mm-hmm.
Record projections? Is every prediction a projection now?
Projection to me implies that you've run some number of thousands of simulations.
They may have.
Predictions is just
one person?
kind of what we what we might do. At least I'm assuming you're not running thousands of simulations before we might predict something.
Sometimes.
Just, talking, that looks like a 10-win team to me. I don't know. But I think a projection implies work, that you had a computer do a bunch of work. I think that's how I take projection.
So what do you know? The Bills are the 3 and the Patriots are the 6.
Mm-hmm.
11-6, 10-7. So you want to guess the rest? It's projections, not a prediction. So it may be easier to predict a projection.
I'm gonna guess that they've got Houston above. Houston's the 2 or the 1. I'm trying to sort of think this out here.
Okay.
I think Houston is above the Bills, and I will say Denver.
That's right.
So Denver's the 1, Houston's the 2. Is what I want to say.
Which I don't mind if we just spend a good chunk of time on those 2 teams. And I've wanted to take Denver under the hood all week, because here they are in first in the reverse AFC, the hallowed reverse AFC power rankings, 3rd week in a row, number 1. Does that hold water? Should Denver is Denver like a deserving number 1? They were number 1 last year.
Yeah.
So maybe that means necessarily they are.
I don't think that necessarily means they are, but they haven't. I don't think they've lost much. They've added Waddle. Nick's with another year in the system. They've gotten a lot of credit for having a fantastic roster. And there's stability there. The defense is still the same, right? I mean, Jim Leonard left, but he wasn't their coordinator. That's Vance Joseph, I think, right? So another year with a lot of the same personnel, familiarity in the system. I don't think it's nuts. To me, it's not. I don't think they're number 1 because they were 1 last year. I think they have an excellent roster, and there's a lot of continuity there. So, and Waddle should be something that can help them pop even more in their passing game.
He's limping though.
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah. 4 or 5 days. I don't know. That's what I heard Sean Payton say. So I'm not offended that they're projected at 1 to me.
They're 2 on this.
Oh, they are? Okay.
Houston is 1.
Okay. Houston's 1. All right. I think that's ridiculous.
Aaron Schatz
says
Houston is 1.
I know.
I mean, he says they're the best team.
Yeah. Yeah, and the defense is irrefutably, to me, fantastic. If it can't be trusted because defense can't be trusted, you just mentioned Aaron Schatz year over year. I mean, the personnel is ridiculous. They've got top shelf personnel at all layers of that defense, including 2, maybe the best pair of edge rushers in the game.
So this one is Houston 1, which means a bye week.
Mm-hmm.
Denver 2. Against the 7, Baltimore. Buffalo 3 against the 6, New England. Cincinnati 4 against the 5, Kansas City. I mean, it looks pretty good on paper. Every one of those games is hot.
Yeah.
Projections, to your earlier analysis of the word, projections is, if you're right, and I think you very well are, then you're not just one person's galaxy brain,
right?
The Browns are 12-5. No, this is
right.
A group, a staff, maybe pooling their predictions and then running an algorithm or something as this falls to the ground. Lovely.
Yeah. That's what I would hope using projection instead of predictions would be.
So nothing stupid happens with projections.
Right.
So how does this sound?
I mean, it doesn't sound great, but it sounds pretty great. If
You wouldn't take it?
I think I would.
You would take it?
I think I would. Yeah.
Would you take 11 and 6
yeah.
and the 3 seed? Does it matter who you're playing?
Not really. I don't remember why this would have come up. I feel like someone was in the room with me, but it wasn't you. And or maybe it was just I was just talking to myself one day that you were away, and I sort of stumbled into. I think I have to say yes to 11 and 6.
11 and 6.
A few things. Let me just unpack a couple things quickly. I've said for years now, 12 and 5 is a great year. You've had a great year if you go 12 and 5. So 11 and 6 is not 12 and 5. It's not undeniably a great year. But in a year where you have had the changeover you've had, head coach, defense, personnel, we'll see what that is going to be, the schedule, all of it, I'm a little uneasy about, just assuming everything goes, like it has for the last 9 years. I think changing the head coach can be a big deal, and the defensive scheme maybe even a bigger deal than the head coach. I've never thought that the bottom was going to fall out, but I feel like I would have, given that's sort of my mood, my mindset going in is sort of not just assuming, I'm not thinking about the 1 seed. And it doesn't mean they can't achieve it, but I just think it's a heavy lift with all that new stuff. The conference is stronger than maybe it's been the whole time since the Bills have been contenders. We were talking again yesterday, or the day before with someone, and you made the point that that's been made numerous times. There's not just the 3 teams at the top anymore. We were talking about reverse AFC power rankings, maybe with Will Graves. It came up, and how you get to like 9 and it's just kind of throwing darts, and it hasn't been like that the previous 5 years or so. So I think that means like maybe 11 and 6 is a really good job. I mean, you're not playing the entire conference. I know that's not how it works, but I just think the competition is going to be stiffer, and so I think if I win the division and end up the 3. I mean, to me, as much as having the 1, the benefit of the rest, and not having to expose yourself to injuries and stuff, and that has done the Bills in, it's been a part of what's done them in maybe many of these years. I think I would still take it. I think I would. I'm months away from finding out, and I know what I'm giving up, which is the 1. I think I would take 11 and 6. I win the division. I don't have to sweat the playoffs maybe as much. I mean, it's not like we're running away with it at 11 and 6. It's going to be competitive down to the wire probably with New England. But if I'm coming out on top there, I think I would take it.
I don't think one has to say yes to that deal, to that offer. But I think it's reasonable to do so. And I'm thinking about all the different times, and every time I think of it or refer to it, I feel a little bit like I'm copping out, or it might sound like I am, and I really don't mean to be, but that the whole thing comes down to those moments in the playoffs, unless, I might have even said this yesterday, unless you can run away from people, which even Kansas City has not done that. I mean, their playoff years, including a couple of Bills games, of course, are very tight. So that doesn't seem likely at all. You want to get in, and then you just want to be on time and make those plays and make those play calls, and maybe you draw the Broncos and their quarterback broke his ankle last week or something, just you kind of there's some luck, and that's what I mean. Like, it just feels a little bit short for analysis, but I think they probably should make it. If you were to throw up in the air the 1 seed versus missing the playoffs, and sort of like, all right, well, do I take the 3? Do I need to guarantee that a playoff spot, even a home game? Or do I want to take my chances at the 1? The Chargers miss in this projection. The Jaguars miss in this projection. That point about the power rankings, yeah, like 2 teams we think are good are not going to make it. The Bills have what should be an advantage, and maybe also do the Jaguars, their own division. And, would you take anything less than 5-1 from the Bills in the AFC East?
No.
So 5-1
with the schedule they have outside of the division, I feel like if they're going to have an 11 win, or if you want to think about it, the one you got to win, you got to split with New England and sweep those other 4.
Okay, so that would be 6-5 against everybody else, and as good as any schedule, as daunting as any schedule might be, that's not great. I mean, that's okay. You're treading water against the rest of the league, the NFC North, the Ravens, the Texans, the Rams, the Chiefs. Like, that's what's out there. I mean, the entire AFC West, actually, but still, like, you're 6-5 against the rest of it. Doesn't seem that good. So there's maybe an argument for passing on 11-6, because if you get the 5-1 in the AFC East, then can I do better than 6 wins against the rest of my schedule? Maybe. 12-5, just whatever this is, the projections from USA Today, 12-5 is the top record. And that's an interesting thing, because if you're thinking about the 1 seed, all right, well, I'm the Bills, I win 11 or 12, I have my typical year, which to this point has not been good enough for the 1. It's been close. Didn't they win 13 when Kansas City got the 1 2 years ago?
Yep.
With 15-2 or whatever that was. 15-1 going into that last game that they threw.
Yep.
So maybe the question about the 1 seed is there a team in the rest of the AFC that you think will just run the table? I mean, Denver got to 14 wins last year. New England even got to 14 wins last year. Cincinnati here at 11, Baltimore here at 10, Kansas City here at 11, Houston at 12. The division should afford, the rest of it is, I think, overall harder, but the division should afford the Bills and the Patriots, for that matter, some advantage if they can get 4 wins out of Miami and the Jets. Yep. And the Bills play those games, by the way, they play them back-to-back in the middle, and they play them back-to-back at the end. The Dolphins and the Jets.
Right.
So those are those 4 games. But if you get those 4 games and split with New England, I'd take my chances. If I knew that, I would not take 11-6, because then I think I can do better than 500 or just above 500 on the rest of it.
Yeah. Yeah, I do think the AFC South is somewhat comparable, although I guess Indy is better than either the Jets or the Dolphins.
According to this thing, they both are.
Okay.
Tennessee and Indianapolis.
I mean, I'm bullish on Cam Ward, but I mean, I don't think that's, they're not in the hunt. I don't think.
You love
Tennessee.
Cam Ward.
Yes, I do. So yeah, I think that I don't think Houston and Jacksonville have really any advantage that the Bills or Patriots don't have within their division. In fact, I think maybe the Bills and Patriots have it easier than both the Texans and the Jaguars. Both of those teams, I think, like Houston, I'm not a believer. Just because I think there's a lot of excuse making for Stroud, and it's possible that he gets it all back together, but I don't know, what is that? Like, is he better than Trevor Lawrence? Even like I don't know. The defense again looks incredible. There's no question about that. Man, the 1 seed for them is a lot for me to deal with.
Stroud is a big wild card in this.
It may be the biggest wild card in the league
of all players.
Yeah, because if he is, whatever, if he gets to like the Herbert tier, even. I don't even know if there a Herbert. Is there a Herbert tier?
You know, I was thinking about visiting the Herbert tier.
If he gets
the library section.
I don't think he's challenging to get into the upper echelon, but if he's firmly in the group behind the top, Lamar and Allen and Mahomes, if he's in that, 3 through 8 range, they might be really great. I mean, I've not studied their schedule.
Houston.
They could be really good. I mean, the rest of it looks pretty tasty.
Yeah, I don't know what to do there. I mean, the stats on him, last year was his best year ever for completion percentage, but really that's splitting hairs. The 3 years he's been in the league, that's been all about the same, between 63 and 64%. What else has happened, though? And he missed 3 games last year. He missed 2 as a rookie, though. As a rookie, he threw for 4,100 yards, then 3,700, then last year 3,041. Like, that was a big drop last year. And okay, well, this or that. Offensive line.
Receiver injuries.
They lost. That's right. They lost Collins for a chunk of the season. They lost Tank Dell for all of it.
Right.
Mixon didn't play at all last year. He was probably the plan to be their running back, and he didn't play at all. I think he's probably done. So, yeah, he's a big one. I just wonder, we do these power rankings because they're hugely popular. Let's just admit that. That's one reason why we do them. Because they're sponsored.
Got to give the people what they want and the sponsors what they want.
Yes. But I think also it would be interesting to sort of open up the room to, like, who is the team, who's scary?
Right.
Like, you think Cincinnati is scary, and their schedule is pretty soft.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're Cincinnati and you got what you wanted from Pittsburgh and Cleveland, which would be if they showed some resemblance to the Dolphins and Jets, like those are 4 wins. That never happens, right? That never happens. But if it does, if Pittsburgh is bad and Cincinnati's good, same with the Browns, then you just can plant 4 wins. And then split with Baltimore, do the same thing we're talking about,
right?
Where you're 5-1. Can I go 7-4 against the rest of it? The Bengals are in pretty good shape to do that if they're that good because of who they play, because they're playing the AFC South and they're playing the NFC South. I mean, that's pretty nice.
Yeah.
So it could be them. It could be Baltimore. Baltimore had that year, 2 or 3 years ago when they lost the AFC Championship game at home, where they were in total control of the AFC like the whole year.
Yep.
And then maybe you could also see somebody from the AFC West doing that. But for that to happen, the other teams would have to slip. Like, you'd have to have, it happened last year, but you'd have to have, if it's Denver again, say,
right.
Kansas City to not be what they have once been, and the Chargers, and then maybe then you get to 13 or 14 wins. Yeah. I know one thing you're saying, though, is that the Bills' schedule outside of their division, of course, especially Miami and New York, is pretty serious. And for them to get the 1, they're going to have to win 8 games against Bears, Lions, Packers,
right.
Chiefs, Ravens, Texans, Rams, that crowd. And that's not going to be easy.
Yeah, to go 8-3 with that, and then you're 5-1, and you get to 13-4, just seems like a really heavy lift to me this year. Which is why I'm a little more willing. Like, I think I don't know, whenever it is we became obsessed with the 1 seed, which was probably when the Bills arrived as a contender and lost to Kansas City in that first AFC title.
5 years ago plus.
So. I think at this time of the year, I mostly, in this kind of conversation, go like, yeah, no, I'm not taking anything. I don't want. I want to try to get the 1 seed. I think it's important. I can remember making the point about the injuries in those wild card games, or even in Week 18 in Miami. Like, you're losing guys, and that is hurting your chances. And if you don't have to lean into those games, or even play one of them, like a wild card game, all the better. And, you're going to have the benefit of rest and hopefully health and all that. But this year, I just feel like, again, the factors to me are the depth of contending level teams in the conference, whether that's because the top has sort of come back a little bit, which I think maybe has happened with Kansas City and Buffalo and Baltimore to an extent, and then the others have sort of risen up to sort of meet them, and now you've got this chunk of teams. That's complicating it, and then, who the Bills are playing outside of the conference and all the new stuff. Like, it all just sort of adds up to me, yeah, I'm winning the division, and I got 11 wins. I'm the 3 seed. Yeah, I would sign up for that today.
You referenced that. Was it the night game in Miami you were thinking of there, the Sunday night?
The last game of the year, yeah, when they needed it. And Gabe Davis got hurt, and a linebacker got hurt. I don't remember who, because that A.J. Klein had to come play.
That's that year.
Yeah.
Rap, maybe.
Yeah, I think that was a part of it, too.
Man. Well, I wonder who fans are sort of focused on. I mean, this has always been Kansas City 1, Baltimore 2, I think. And then after that, whoever your favorite flavor is, New England now in that conversation, of course. Cincinnati is still in the room. The Jaguars and Texans in the AFC South. Denver was the 1 seed last year. The Chargers are, again, popular.
Mm-hmm.
The Steelers only ever win that AFC North.
Right.
That's all they ever do is get in the playoffs anyway.
Yep.
Really good.
There's a lot. It feels like there's more traffic on the road this year than other years as far as the top of the conference goes.
Denver is the 1 in the power rankings 3 weeks in a row. They did knock the Bills out, but they're not anybody's overwhelming favorite. They're not even the betting favorite. The Bills are.
Right.
The Bills and the Ravens, not the Chiefs. Interesting. The Chiefs are slightly behind. Maybe that varies. I should shop around and see if that's true all the time. Maybe not.